Welcome to the Qigong Global Summit, presented by the Shift Network. And now your host, Sharon Rose.
Hello out there. Welcome to the final episode of the Qigong Global Summit for the Shift Network. I'm your host, Sharon Rose. And once again, it is such a pleasure to be with you. In this final chapter, we have a dear, dear friend I've known for many years, KiaraWindrider. Kiara is a psychotherapist and author whose great passion is to co-create a new earth consciousness where we can unfold our destiny as divine humans. To me, this really summarizes the mission for this entire summit, to bring through the understanding of Qi, through the understanding of working with our emotions, through the understanding that we are so much more than these physical bodies, and to bring a new level of higher frequency and love, open-hearted love, and connection to people throughout the world. Kiara offers teachings for using the incoming galactic frequencies of light in order to merge with what we've spoken about on and off in this series, the light body, the luminous energy body, and the transmission of Qi that pervades, informs, and brings us joy and health and healing. Hi, Kiara.
Hey, Sharon. Wonderful to see you again.
Namaste.
Oh, namaste.
And to all of you out there, I've been asking the presenters to say hello because we are a global summit in all the languages they know. So, Kiara, go for it.
Gunayden, Guten Tag, Bonjour, Salam Alaikum. That's about all I can think of at the moment.
Buenos dias. So today we're going to be talking about Qi, Kundalini, and planetary healing. Kiara, I know that you have very powerful insight. You've traveled the world looking into numerous cultures, and you have very deep insight into the practice of Qi, the understanding of Qi in the shamanic traditions, how it's woven into not only shamanic, but actually we could say it all goes back to shamanic or the primordial tradition. So give us some insight into your research and what you and bring your life and beauty and understanding to us all.
Yeah, thank you. So maybe I could share a little bit about how I could experience Qi from yogic perspectives and also from shamanic perspectives, particularly the Inca Quero practices. So, one way to look at Qi from the yogic perspectives is in terms of how we incarnate the soul through different vehicles. So here we are, pretending to be human beings. We're incarnating in many different bodies. We only tend to think of the physical body as who we are, or the personality structure as who we are. So Qi actually moves through all these different bodies, and maybe we could talk a little bit about that. And then later we could go into how we can bring these different body systems together, unify them, including the light body, and allow this full experience of Qi that's not just working with the energy body, but also with the soul body, emotional, mental bodies, and all the way out to the self. What I'd also like to do is to maybe do a meditation later on that would allow us to experience that directly. So it's working with electrical and magnetic currents that connect us to the outer reaches of the universe. So maybe we'll just start a little bit with the 5-body system from the yogic tradition. I know that in the Taoist tradition, they speak about 3 bodies. These 5 bodies have to do with 5 elements. So we're talking about the physical body, which has to do with earth. Here we have the nervous system, the sympathetic, the parasympathetic nervous system, which are electrically based. Then we move on to the etheric body or the prana body, what the Hindus call the pranamaya kosha. And this has to do with these subtle energy systems, the meridians that flow through different or interact with the organ structures in the body, and are also linked with higher elements within the 5-body system. So the physical and the etheric body work together in many ways. This creates a sense of vitality, a sense of health and wellness. Then moving on, we connect with the emotional body, or the Manamaya kosha, and this is also linked with the fire element. And so when we get to the fire element, we're working with the Kundalini energies, so the different chakras in the body, the 7 major chakras and other minor chakras. It's the same chi, it's the same life force that moves through all these in different forms. Then we move on to the next level, which is what's called the Vijnanamaya kosha, the mind body. And there's many different layers of the mind. It's not just the rational mind here. We could call it the intelligence system that feeds the emotional body, feeds the etheric, feeds the physical body. And here we're connecting now with the nadis. The nadis are very, very subtle flows. It's the air element, and it allows us to go much further out beyond the physical body. All these bodies interpenetrate each other, but they also expand out and create what's called the aura. Finally, we have the causal body, the Anandamaya kosha, and this is where we link with the energies of the soul. When we link with the soul, we lose that separation that keeps us in this world of duality. We link up with other fields of reality beyond ourselves, up in the upper world, the lower world. We connect with the planetary body, the cosmic body. We connect with the heart of life. I'm also very much attracted to the electric universe theory, plasma cosmology, where they say that everything is linked to everything. It's very close to the Hindu understanding of the universe, where there's vast electrical fields spanning the galaxies, and everything happens instantaneously through these fields. And these fields are outside of us, but they're also within us. And through the soul body, or the Anandamaya kosha, we can access this. So there's practices and exercises through which we can access the soul body and access these links between various aspects of ourselves spanning the universe. So we'll get into this a little bit. But while we talk about this, I also want to say that the earth and all living beings also have these 5 aspects of themselves. So when we talk about these elements, we're talking about the earth in her earth body, which we can see physically. We're talking about the earth in her etheric body, which is basically the vitality, the flows of vitality spanning across our planet. When we connect with the emotional body of the earth, we're talking about more of the connectedness between different species, animals, plants, and everything that inhabits this earth as this one beautiful, intricate web of life. And then we move on to the air level, the aspect of the earth which is sometimes known as the noosphere. This is the intelligence of the earth, which is a very beautiful, vast consciousness, far more so than we are as humans. Finally, we get to the soul of the earth, the Anandamaya kosha, linked with Mother Earth herself. And here we connect with the Cosmic Mother. We connect with vast regions of space and time, beyond space and time, connecting with the eternal self itself. So as we connect with this aspect of the earth within ourselves, we can make changes in the earth around us, in the collective fields, in the morphogenetic fields that connect all life together. So many of us have been experiencing a great deal of despair at times here on this planet, where it seems that we are just breaking apart, destroying everything, going extinct as a species or as a planet. But as we can reach out to these other layers of our being, we can learn how to bring that awareness into these 5 body systems and transform things very directly by working with timelines that can transcend our current realities, by opening to the upper world, to the lower world, in ways that we can literally transform the way we perceive. Perceptions have to do with our 5 senses, but we can actually open to other senses beyond that, where we can use the power of our soul, use the power of the self as creators to create an entirely new world of reality. So let's talk a little bit about shamanic perspectives also. So when we talk about the Inca tradition, this predates the conquest by the Spanish. We're going outside of that field of duality of good and evil and right and wrong and positive and negative to where you're simply a flow of living energy. The shamans from the Peruvian tradition talk about Sami. Sami is simply this flow. Anything that blocks the flow is known as hucha. So all of our fears or resistances to life or attachments to things the way we think they should be, all of this creates hucha or resistance to the natural flow of life. And they have technologies to transmute hucha into Sami. And they have practices to open up to vast electrical fields beyond our physical experience, and then bring those fields in through our bodies to the earth. And then there's a reciprocal response from the earth where magnetic fields move upwards and connect with the electrical fields. And what this does, interestingly, is to create links between the 5 bodies, between the physical, etheric, emotional, mental, and causal bodies. In other words, it allows the physical body and the light body to come closer together. And the more we do these practices, we experience this great, great expansion out through the universes as a creator. And this creator consciousness can then flow through creation. Sri Aurobindo, for instance, talks about supramental fields. Peter Donov talks about fire, electrical fire that's now pouring through. Astrophysicist Paul Viollet talks about galactic superwaves that are entering in. We're going through a vast, major evolutionary process right now, and Gaia is orchestrating all this. And so what she's trying to create through us is an entirely new field of consciousness, letting go of something that we have been holding on to for vast eons and entering into a completely new species, not just a human species, but a planetary species. So we can get into this a little bit through opening to these shamanic traditions, opening doorways between the worlds. And there's a very special practice that I would love to share that allows for this to happen very easily and very effectively.
So this has been fascinating because it speaks to so many of the topics that I have brought up throughout the series. The relationship between chi and prana and shakti and sami and on and on. That as I would say, the primordial tradition where the source, just as we have in ourselves, the true inner source, the nature, the Rigpa from the Tibetan tradition, and I'm sure there's words for it in many traditions, So also, and from that point to understand, we've been presenting teachings to really understand that we are so much more than we have been led to believe, and that when we connect, it not only helps ourselves, as we free ourselves from the despair and from all the challenges and the programming that tends to kind of knock up
trapped.
against,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So this whole summit has been to show you through so the audience and beyond, how ways through Qigong, and now you're going to give us some other, to really free ourselves and come into a place of joy and feel that flow that you were speaking about. And it's interesting that my whole work with Qigong began when I went to interview a master Chia we were working on a film about the light body. And the first thing he transmitted to me was the understanding of the 6 healing sounds, which we've talked about in this summit, and how by freeing the problems, the issues from the organs, that we're able to actually grow our light body. So it's interesting that, we're ending here with you and your vast knowledge of the light body from so many traditions, and Qi as it flows through many different traditions. So on that note,
right.
Please.
Yeah, and ultimately it's going beyond all of these bodies and connecting with the self. So when we refer to the self, we're referring to primordial consciousness that incarnates itself through these different bodies to give ourselves a human experience or a planetary experience or whatever it may be. So as we begin to shift our identity from the personal self to the universal self, we're actually not disregard one, but include both. Then we have the ability to be creators within creation in a profound way that can transform the world around us and create something that the shamans and the prophets have been predicting forever. And this is the time, and I think that's what's so exciting, that this is the moment. We've been awaiting this for such a long time, so many cultures and so many traditions, and this is the time. We are the ones. So let's do a practice. I'll guide you through a practice. This is for all the listeners and viewers here, that you can actually participate directly. So I'll guide it like a meditation. So just find yourself a comfortable place where you can just be. We'll work with an analogy of the 3 worlds. So the middle world is our normal reality. So this is how we experience reality through the 5 senses, to the rational mind. And this tends to be our normal approach to experience. Beyond this, the shamans talk about the upper world, the world of spirit, and the lower world, the worlds of nature. And there's doorways that can be opened. The one thing that's very unique about the Inca tradition is that they say that the doors to the upper world and to the lower worlds happen simultaneously. So it's not one or the other, it's both. So it's working with electrical and magnetic frequencies, which simply intertwine and create these worlds as we open. So what we can start with is imagine that there's a bubble of light, and this completely surrounds your physical body, maybe extending 3 or 4 feet out in all directions. And this bubble is the boundary of your middle world. It includes the physical body, the etheric body, the lower emotional, mental bodies. It's your sense of who you are as a personality structure, your personal self. So imagine this around you as a bubble of light. And once you get a sense of this, imagine that directly over this bubble, there's a window. So it's like a circular window, similar to a skylight, like the lens of a camera, which can be opened and closed. And now, with your intention, just open this window as wide as you can. So you don't need to visualize anything, there's no effort involved. It's simply your intention. And as soon as you open that window, you connect with these enormous streams of light that inhabit the upper worlds. These are plasma fields, what the Incas referred to as Sami. It's a flow of living energy. And as soon as you open that window, it just pours down through the upper crown, down through your body, through all the Kundalini channels and the nadis, all the meridians, all the flows that inhabit our 5 bodies, all the way down into the earth. As it moves through, it starts to break up any illusions and fears, what the shamans call hucha, aspects of ourselves that have been frozen and densified, that express as disease or various symptoms, as emotional densities, anything that's been stuck. And it begins to free that up and release it down into the earth. So just keep that window open. The Sami just continues to flow by itself, all the way down through the bubble, all the way down through the physical body, deep down into the earth. And then there's a principle of reciprocity called Aini. And what happens is, as soon as the Sami connects with the earth, there's a response. And this response is always there between everything. So as the Sami from the sky touches the earth, there's a response from the earth back to the sky. And what you experience then is a magnetic flow of energy that pours up through the soles of your feet, up through your entire body, all the way up through the bubble, up through that window, up to the sky. So as you bring your attention to the downward flowing Sami, it's an electrical force. It's very stimulating. It moves through and stirs up and releases stuck energies. You can stay with this as long as you want. And then, when you wish to bring your attention to the upward moving Sami, the magnetic Sami coming up from the earth, you simply experience that reciprocal response from Gaia. It's a very warm, very loving, very nurturing, very healing energy. You experience the unconditional love of the Mother, the welcome that she provides to all of her creatures, the knowledge that it's safe to be here. And as you begin to experience more and more of the Sami pouring up, there's a sense of being able to completely let go and relax. Your heart opens, the mind becomes still. There's a deep sense of trust. You begin to feel through all of your bodies. And this trust comes from this connectedness with Mother Earth. This is your umbilical cord to the heart of the Great Mother. And so, as these two flows move past each other simultaneously, the electrical flow is moving down, the magnetic flow is moving up. As they interact with each other, it creates a sense of presence. What you experience is your aura or your bubble expanding further and further out into the universe. You begin to connect with the causal body, the Anandamaya Kosha, the body of bliss, the soul. You experience this great vastness as you continue to stretch out through the universes. You experience yourself expanding out, becoming the earth, feeling her inside your own being. You feel yourself expanding out even further and further and further out through the solar system, out through a galaxy, out into intergalactic space, out to the very edges of time and space, to the very boundaries of creation. And then beyond that, experiencing yourself as the infinite self, the one consciousness that moves through all things, permeates all things, and is all things. In this space, there's no inside, there's no outside. The drop has dissolved into the great ocean, and you experience yourself as that great ocean, and simultaneously as the drop. So this great ocean rushes into the drop, this vast consciousness that you are, this divine presence penetrates through the five vehicles so you can express yourself freely and powerfully and beautifully here on this earth. Not so much from a space of effort and doing, but from a space of simply surrendering to the spirit of life, to the Sami. And the longer you stay with these flows, the more you experience this vastness, this ability to just let go, open, and experience the self. And gradually, the window remains open longer and longer as you continue doing this practice, until whatever you do, wherever you are, the doorways between the worlds remain open. And you experience yourself as a multidimensional being, not just human in your expression, but a planetary being, a cosmic being, a divine, universal being. So this is where the yogic and the shamanic traditions come together. You recognize that everything is chi. Everything simply is. And you are that. And all the pairs of opposites, the right and the wrongs, and the dark and the light, and the good and the bad, and negative and positive, they lose their distinctions. There's simply a single flow that harmonizes through all of this. As this flow moves through the mental body, all your sense of judgments begin to dissolve. As this flow moves through your emotional body, you experience a sense of release of guilt and shame and fear and lack. As it moves through your pranic body, your physical body, you experience this great sense of wellness. and power. You feel this power moving through your physical body, providing wellness, providing a sense of wholeness. You feel all the energy you need for anything you need to do. You experience the mind opening intuitively to sources of wisdom and knowledge beyond what's familiar. And you connect with the heart of Gaia. You become as Gaia. You experience yourself as part of this grand nervous system that goes far beyond the physical earth. And this is how a planetary level of healing can take place. The boundaries between inside and outside dissolves, and you find that whatever you're experiencing on the inside reflects itself on the outside in magical ways. And in this way, we participate in the next evolution of Gaia as a planetary consciousness. We are going through a time where there's tremendous changes taking place. And we're right in the midst of that. There are cycles, long-term cycles, that determine the evolution of this planet. And we're in that crossing point right now. Perhaps that's why there's so many of us here on this earth. And an evolutionary transformation always requires a point of crisis. As the Taoists say, each crisis is an opportunity. So let's seize these opportunities, these divine opportunities, to become creators in this vast field of creation. Conscious creators, capable of creating new worlds.
I've been floating in the cosmic ocean of Qi and beyond. Thank you so much for that exquisite exercise. It really touched my heart. And it's fascinating how one of the themes that we brought forth in this summit is moving to a place of deep feeling and sensing and opening, learning to expand our awareness, go deeper into feeling, opening our sensory, our hearing, our seeing, our tasting, our touching, our feeling. We too often in this world we're caught up in the phantasm and the of the matrix and the illusions and delusions that have been part of our, as we would say, the Kali Yuga, and as the Kiara would say, this time that we are moving from being Homo sapien into Homo luminous.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's the time of the Pachakuti, the turning upside down, which is actually a turning right side up again, because we've been upside down.
Yes. I remember when I spoke to many shamans and people who had been studying 2012 that time, and they were all talking about this time, 2012, as this time of transformation. But to me, it is now. It is now, and that is why, all of you out there, I'm sure, we've talked often in this summit about what's happening and what we're feeling. and that we have to keep our feelings open, not shut them down and get caught up in the addiction to the media and the addiction to drama, and what we can do, ways in which Qigong, acupuncture, Reiki, all of these, yoga, all of these different exquisite traditions coming from really the source of all of our being and our life and Gaia, how we can weave them together and create a world of beauty and grace and full-hearted, open-hearted love.
Absolutely. Yes, a space where the heart, the mind, the body, the soul, the spirit can all link together and work as a single organism through all these different bodies, through all these different expressions of who we are.
And I feel that, having studied so many myself and experienced them, that Qigong really is a simple practice. It just kind of synthesizes it to Qi and to that beauty of Qi and that feeling of life force energy and harmony and balancing of the yin and yang, of the dark and the light and the duality. And so for everyone out there, drink in all of these teachings. Let's weave a world together, like the great goddesses, like Isis, or many of the ones that are known as weavers. Let's work together to weave a new, joyous place. And your take on that, my dear Kiara?
We are weavers. In a way, this is a dream. This entire so-called reality is a dream. So if it is a dream and we experience ourselves as the dreamer, as the weaver, we can choose to create any dream we choose. We can weave together realities that have not been seen before. Anything that's been broken, anything that needs mending, we can choose to make it so. This is our opportunity, and it's so far beyond what we can even imagine. As we simply open to higher levels of the mind, as we open to cellular levels of the mind, as we connect ourselves to this great, beautiful being we call Gaia, to the great cosmic mother, this all becomes part of who we are and part of what we are here to serve and offer.
Kiara, how do people get in touch with you?
My website is KiaraWindrider.net. I'm also on Facebook, KiaraWindrider. You can email me, KiaraWindrider@gmail.com. I travel quite a bit. I share these practices wherever I go. I love meeting people, exchanging energies, bringing science and spirituality together. And I'd love to connect with any of you who choose to write me or get hold of me.
I'm very grateful that you have joined us today to share your wisdom, culled from so many years, looking into our planetary issues and all of these ancient traditions. It's been a pleasure to be with you.
Oh, such a pleasure. Thank you.
And I want to thank all of you out there, for joining us in this Qi-filled journey of the Qigong Global Summit and beyond, into the many different doorways and teachings that relate to the Taoist, where we come to a place where the yin and yang blend, where the dark and the light, where we're beyond the duality, from open hearts, expanded awareness, our senses fully alive and open. It's been a very transformative journey for me, and hopefully for you as well, learning all of these teachings and practices from the world of Qigong and acupuncture and Reiki and the shamanic traditions and yoga, but mostly from these beautiful, powerful Taoist traditions that I really have learned to hold in my heart. As you have seen, the teachings are simple, yet they can expand into the most complex. But as I said from the very beginning, Qigong is for everyone. So take these teachings with you. Go to our site and theshiftnetwork.com and check out our amazing bonus and upgrade packages that will take you deeper and deeper, even into more experiential practices to help us heal. Let's heal ourselves, then heal our families, our communities, and our world. Let's wake up and take hold of our true innate power. It is the time. Thank you for joining us. Sending love and healing grace to all of you.
Thank you for joining us for the Qigong Global Summit. To learn about our global community, visit theshiftnetwork.com. And please share these powerful sessions with your friends and family.